love this actor.
Yeah, he was a good friend.
Yeah, he was a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
So he was in Plato's Stepchildren, where he plays the ruler of these people who basically are base their society on the Romans and the Greeks, but they have these crazy telekinetic powers, so they can force people to do things and move objects, and they just have all this super psychic power, which he is constantly abusing. And so it's that, again, he doesn't play the nicest guy. But what can you tell us about Liam Sullivan? Since I know you're really good friends.
So when I was like 12 years old, 13 years old at the most, I wrote him a fan letter. I happened to see a Gunsmoke episode where he played a really bad character that Matt Dillon has to kill in the end. And I wrote him a fan letter, and he wrote back, and we kept up writing back and forth over the years. And during his Hollywood time, he's quit Hollywood for a while and went back to New York and did plays for a number of years and come back to LA. But he started out doing Shakespeare. Well, his grandfather had a Ferris wheel company, and his father took over afterwards, and he wanted Liam to work there. He sent Liam off to Harvard University to get a degree, to come back and be able to take care of all the paperwork and the economic part of it.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, is there a Harvard degree in Ferris wheel?
No. They run the business. But Liam told his dad after he got back there, he said, really, let my brother can run it, and I want to be an actor. And his father said, well, okay, if you're going to sit there and be staring out the window wishing you were somewhere else, then it'd be better for everybody if you were somewhere else. But if you get there into New York and it doesn't work out, and you want to come back and not sit and stare out the window, then you'll have your job. He didn't have to come back. He ended up doing a lot of Shakespeare, and as far as that goes, he was doing a live television show of playing Romeo and Romeo and Juliet on live TV back in New York. And the director named Jules Dessine saw it, and they said, if you come out to Hollywood, I can get you work. And so he came out to Hollywood, and in Hollywood, they knew nothing about his Shakespeare. He said he ended up playing at Gunsmoke. And when I saw him and wrote him the fan letter for that, it was his first or second thing he did in Hollywood. And he said after that, forget Shakespeare, all they put him in was Have Good No Travel or Cheyenne, Bat Masterson playing bad guys in Westerns for a while. And I know when we were talking the other day, you mentioned one of your favorite parts with him, Jeff, was...
Oh yeah. Hold on. I want to bring that up last. I have a couple questions though. So you wrote to him as you guys were kids, and you wrote to him, and
12 or 13, yeah.
12 or 13, and he wrote back, and so
he wrote back, sent an autograph picture, and I wrote back to him, and then he wrote back, and then there's a fan club for him, so I joined his fan club, and we kept in touch over the years, and.
So was he someone that you looked up, like when you went down to LA to start your career? Did you pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm here"?
No, Liam was in New York.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
But at the same time, those other two, Peter Adams and Robert Brubaker, who we talked about before.
Yeah,
I picked up the phone and called and talked to them, and they helped a lot. They helped a lot.
He was in a Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
he was in a Twilight Zone episode, which people like Twilight Zone will probably remember, where he
the silence.
The silence. He was someone who talked all the time, and someone makes him a bet that he can't go for so long without talking.
And to win the bet, finally in the end, he found out he won the bet. He found out he won by having his vocal cords taken out. But he said that episode of Twilight Zone and the episode of Star Trek are probably the two shows he's been in that have the most reruns of anything.
Wow, that makes sense. Yeah. The show I saw him in, I love this guy. By the way, this is one of my favorite actors, Liam Sullivan, and it's funny because he was never a lead in a television series, to my knowledge. I could be wrong.
He had a running part.
He had a running part in a TV series called The Monroes. It was filmed up in Jackson Hole. It lasted one season, and
but he always makes me smile whenever I see him, and the reason why is because he was in 1968, so the 60s version of Dragnet, and he plays basically Dr. Leary. I'm pretty sure that they based everything that he did. So at the very beginning, Friday and Gannon get a phone call to go see this guy because he's selling kids LSD. So they go to his house. The entire episode is at this guy's house. So they get the phone call, they go to his house, and from then on, 20 minutes or more, it's them talking to Liam Sullivan in his house, and his house is insane. So like if you ever get a chance to look him up, find this episode of Dragnet, because I forgot what his nickname is like the Reverend or the whatever. He has some kind of religious nickname and that he goes by, and it's like the Church of Dreams, or I don't even remember, but it's amazing. And it's just him talking with them in this insane house with like weird like colored lights and curtains and lava lamps and like all of this. Just like, what is this, dude? Like it's amazing. It was meant to be serious, but now it's just hilarious. And I could watch that over and over and over again. Liam Sullivan.
Another film that you liked that he was in was That Darn Cat.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That Darn Cat, I'm not saying it was like a film masterpiece, but it's a very great, enjoyable film. It's a very good little film. That's, fun for the whole family. And Haley Mills is in it and is wonderful. There's a lot of people in it, and they're all wonderful. He plays one of the FBI agents who's following the cat. So the plot is that the cat brings back this wristwatch as his collar that belonged to this woman who got kidnapped, so they know the cat knows where she is. And so all these FBI agents are following the cat as he walks around town, and it's hilarious. So yeah, he's one of the FBI agents in that. You're right, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. And he talked about some of the actors he worked with in that episode, The Silence on Twilight Zone. Francois Tone was the star. And he said the director would tell Francois Tone, he said, okay, well, your scene is done. You can go rest over in your trailer or wherever you're at, and we'll have somebody else read the lines to Liam for the close-ups. And Francois Tone said, no way. He came in and he did it. He was in another series where he played one guy was a prosecuting attorney and the other was a defendant attorney. I'm not sure which was which, but Liam said the guy that played the opposite attorney was also directing it. And he even mentioned to Liam, he said, I'm happy with what you're doing. But when they cut the film up and when it's put on TV, a lot of Liam's good lines were said while it was a close-up on this other guy's face. And then he was in a film called What Waits Below, which was supposed to be a really good science fiction film, but they murdered it because the distributors, after it got filmed, the distributor said, hey, these aliens are coming out like the good guys and the armies the bad guys. We don't want that. The aliens have to be the bad guys and the armies have to be the good guys. So some of the real choice scenes of between Liam and a lady scientist, and then Liam and his little grandson that is going to die, but Liam sacrifices himself. Those were all cut, and it destroyed the movie.